All right, guys, I want to welcome everybody to the office hours today on Thursday. We got people still coming in here. So, hey, Fran, how's it going? Just give me a 1 if you guys can hear me. All right, fantastic. And you guys, let me turn my screen on. All right, we got a special guest here. Greg is on. So if you guys have any questions with SEO, he's here. Also, let me see here in the background, so you guys can address him. All right, guys. Well, I got some questions here that were emailed into me, and we'll get on those. And then if you guys have any questions, of course, put it in the question box. Or if you have a situation or something that you want to come on live and talk about, we can do that also. So I'm going to start right off here, and we're going to all right, just if you guys hear some noise in the background, my kids are off from school today because we have another blizzard here in New York. All right, so let's see. Yeah. Paul wants to know about SynWire. Yeah, I'll show you guys about SynWire. Let me hit some of these questions up first. This question was sent in from Todd. He says, I've built a site that has thousands of Google page 1 results for local search terms. He used Chris Marshall's local explosion. His affiliate product being promoted on the site now, and plans to rent the pages out to local businesses for a monthly fee. If you guys don't know what Chris Marshall's local explosion is, he did a webinar with Mike on it. It's basically a software that will produce thousands of pages, over 25,000 pages, and if it's a long tail keyword that you're using, it will rank pretty well. I used it for a client of mine who does stairs, wood stairs. It's a pretty unique thing that he does, and within a week after all the pages got indexed, he's up on #1 for hundreds of terms. So the first question, he says, I live in Australia and the site targets U.S. cities. All right, so he wants to know how to contact people in the U.S. if he lives in Australia. You can hire a salesman to do it, give him a percentage if you want. Telemarketers, I never had real good success with telemarketers selling SEO for me. Usually it has to be someone who really knows what they're talking about, because these businesses a lot of times get hammered with phone calls. If I'm going to call a business, usually what I'll do is, if we have the site up and it's getting leads, I'll do one of two things. I'll tell them, look, I have a site, it's getting leads, and I don't have a contractor in your area. Would you mind if I send you the leads for free? They almost always say yes, and I send it to them. Most tracking software will have what's called a whisper. So as soon as they pick up the phone, they're gonna it's gonna say like Joe's Plumbing, and it's just a little recording that only they hear, so they know where the lead is coming from. Then I'll record the leads, and after they get a couple of good calls, I'll call them up and say, hey, do you want to buy the leads or rent the site? That's one way you can do it. And then what prices would you rent the pages out for? And how do you determine this? I'm thinking like $50 per page per month, and maybe a better price for bulk. It all really, the price that you're going to sell the leads or the pages for really depends on what niche it is. What's that lead worth to the person you're selling it to? If it's an air conditioning repair lead, and the person's going to make $1,000 or more off that lead, it's going to be very valuable to him. If it's something where he's only going to make $50, $60, it's a whole different ball game. If I'm renting out a page, I like to at least get, $400 or $500 for it on the low end. $50 is usually what I charge for a lead. How would you monetize it? Well, just like you're saying, you can monetize it by renting out the page or the leads. I like doing it per lead because I think if the site's bringing in leads, people are more apt to pay you more for the lead because they're paying for performance. Basically, if I'm selling them a lead at $70 and they could turn that and make $1,000 off that $70, even if they get a couple of leads that don't go nowhere, it still averages out for them, and they're not just renting the site out where it's which you can do. I've done that also, but it's more where they can see the value in renting leads. Do you have any specific training inside OMG or Director's Cut that covers this? If yes, you could let me know where to find it. I do have some in there in Project X and Project J. I do have a module on lead gen. Not so much renting it out, but I do have some stuff on lead gen and how to use CPAs that'll pay you for those leads that you're getting. Let's see here. All right, let me get back up to here. Somehow I got. Okay, so Vince asks, I'm trying to rank YouTube video, live video using Money Robot. How you use it, pretty much everything. Okay, I have training on how to use Money Robot. I'm actually going to be working on some more videos here pretty soon. I'm going to do a module of Brian Williams, and we're going to go into even more depth into Money Robot. Will this method work for other properties? Yes. I've ranked Yelp pages, Manta pages, Twitter pages, all that using Money Robot. Jason's trying to find last week's webinars. They should be posted. David has them, so I'm sure he'll be posting them shortly. Okay, it's another person wanting to do SynWire. Let me pull this over. I'm going to hit some of these questions up right now. Let me pull this up and I'll try to print the screen here. All right, let's do this. Okay, and if anyone wants to come live to talk about anything, just message me here in the question box, and we'll go into it. All right, so this is a question for Greg. If you're there, Greg. So are you using all these methods such as DAS, Tumblr, and so forth to rank your website, or do you primarily still use PBNs?
Yeah, I use it all, but I would say I use PBNs more than everything else. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much use it all, and I test a lot of stuff. So.
All right. Yeah, I just started using DAS. I still use PBNs pretty much a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much stick to the basics, guys, as far as me, where, I just focus on getting my anchor text right with my URLs, and then that's pretty much it. I mean, it doesn't have to be PBN links. You can do some press releases to get branded links and analyze competitor sites to see where they're getting links from, and then just out anchor text them, like just do better anchor text than them. I mean, you don't have to do just PBNs. You can do pretty much anything. Just look into what your competitors are doing and go get the same links if you want to.
Yeah, I like to use too. I like to find local links, and I think in the over the shoulder series, I show how I use Bright Local, and sometimes it's the citations, getting the citations that they have, or even trying to put a link on where your competition has made a difference for me also. All right, so Paul says the snow's starting to bore him. It's starting to bore me too. I had to shovel my walkway twice already today. can you explain a ninja trick you were using with Money Robot? I don't know what ninja trick you're talking about. If you could elaborate on that a little more. I basically use it the way I show it inside Director's Cut. John, are you still using Money Robot for video, and how well is it working for you? I've been testing it with a video I do for my barber, but doesn't seem any movement. Yeah, I mean, John, I still use it for video. If I run the video through YouTube Live, the video will sometimes pop up right on page 1 or 2, and it may drop a little bit. So, you know, I'll run a couple of campaigns at it. You can also drop the video into PBN if you have it. I like to, my biggest thing is I like to embed my video wherever I can. So I also have several domains that are PBNs. They're not, I didn't buy them at auction. They were deleted, and they have like a domain authority of around 20, and they have some pretty good links on them. And I use them just to embed my video on. So I might have, you know, 10 of these in the construction niche, and I'll just embed my video on all those, and I'll see pretty good movement off of that. Greg, what are you using primarily to rank your videos? Are you just using PBNs mostly?
Yeah, mostly PBNs. Pretty easy, pretty powerful and easy.
Yeah. All right. So Susan,
I'll even do like if I'm ranking multiple properties, a lot of times just embedding the video and then linking to some other social properties, that will do the trick for the video depending on the niche. I mean, which we showed in the Over the Shoulder series.
Yeah. Yeah, I like embedding's pretty strong, because when you embed it, your link is still in there, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't get the anchor text, but you're pushing juice to it. They know what's going on.
Yeah. All right. All right, so let's see. Susan Harris, I'm trying to run a YouTube Live event with her pre-recorded video the way you show in your video training. I'm doing it for a client, so I'm using Chrome browser, incognito mode. I'm signed in. Okay. When I hit authenticate on Wirecast, it brings up Mozilla browser. Send away. I mean, it sounds like, so what's happening is when Susan, it sounds like when you hit the authenticate, it brings up a different browser. It may be because the Mozilla browser is your main browser that you use. So you might try to run the YouTube Live in your Mozilla browser. If that makes sense to you, because sometimes if you, but I don't know, usually when I run the YouTube Live, if I'm running it in Firefox, then it brings up the Firefox browser for me. So I don't know why you'd have that issue. Okay, let me take another screenshot here. All right, let me come down. We got some pretty long questions here. All right, let me just. All right, so Michelle asks, or Michael asks, I live in a country where private registration is prohibited, even illegal, and where you have to give your contact details in an imprint, a host page on every website. Do I use OMG method without running into a Google penalty or having site pages disregarded by Google? How do you avoid raising Google's attention to your activities? You know, I don't know what country it is that you're in where you can't use private registration. I don't know. Hey, Greg, do you have any comment on that? It looks like they're having a problem doing some private registration in their country.
Yeah, there is certain countries like that. You're just going to have to be careful with your who is footprints. For those particular sites, if they're displaying your name, you're not going to want to send multiple links from that with that information to the same site, at least not like consecutively.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there's not much you can do in that case. You don't want to probably be using fake names or anything like that if that's going to get you in trouble. Okay. Okay, so Adrian asks, hey, Joe, get some understanding on the best way to change an existing website to new director's cut skin. I have this, I have a site that was coming up the rankings with DASDAQ keywords up to 30. Well, that's pretty good. And set up the new DC skin in a subfolder, got it looking great with the same content, swapped it out with and now a day later the keywords are not ranking. I made sure the URL structure was the same. I have to do this with a client's website next. Leaving existing site active. Swapping. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really swap out. Usually when I'm building out a site, I try to build it out on the theme I'm using. I have swapped out themes before. I'm pretty careful to make sure all the URL structure and everything is pretty much the same, even the SEO data. I don't know. It may just drop and then come back. Just give it some time to reindex. All right, Ganache asks, I have 4 sites up on different niches. I plan to rent them out once ranked. Do I have to get virtual addresses for each? Want to do citations and get them in the 7-pack. How can I change the address to reflect client's address? Ganache, if you're going to set up 4 sites in different niches and you're going to rent them out, and you're going to use an address, I would stick with whatever address I'm going to use. I mean, that's why I use a lot of, when I do lead gen stuff, it's a lot for service where people go out to the house. That way I can hide the address in Google Maps. But if you're building, like when you get in a 7-pack, it's because your site has built authority. You have the address on your website. It correlates with your Google Marketplace page. It correlates with all your citations. So, once you're in there, you really don't want to be messing with that address too much. At least, that's my experience with it. You can go through and change the address, but there's no guarantee that you're not going to see a drop in the rankings when you do that. Okay, Adrian wants to come live, and we can do that. Let me just do this. Just going to scroll down, check some of these. Okay, let's see here. Hey, Adrian, how's it going?
Good.
So, what can we do for you?
Yeah, just interested. Sorry, I just woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning here in Tasmania. Keen to get onto the Webby. Just realised my voice hasn't been working yet. With that site that I was talking about, it's totally dropped right off the rankings. I think I've worked out what the problem is now. I had a pretty, just a standard skin on it, so I've gone to the director's cut skin with it, thinking it was really slow. It was just a bad website, thinking that would drop me up, bring me up. I've just checked my rankings again, and it's just gradually dropping backwards and going backwards. What I realised then is I had a static page as the front page, and now with the director's skin page, it's it's got its own separate home page, so it'll totally be different. I suppose that would be the reason why it's all mucked up, because the keywords wouldn't be in that front page.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to keep all your title tags, your metadata, and all your data the same. If you had content on the front page with your keywords in it, and it's not there anymore, and the content isn't there anymore, then your site isn't going to necessarily rank for those keywords anymore. Was your site ranking other pages also, or just was your homepage ranking?
I only, as I say, I'm new to this, starting to learn all. I only had the homepage in ProRank Tracker checking, and last night I've just been working out. I went back and it dropped pages, not ranking anymore, and it's bleeding bad. And I woke up this morning and I thought, I bet that's what it is. I haven't got the names in there. The keywords in there. So I think I know what I need to do to fix it, and then I'll just have to start again. The other question was, I've got someone else, although this is going to be a totally different site. They want to keep their original, they want to use the same URL later. They want to keep their original site going until we build up the new site with the DC skin. What would be the best way to swap that out, you reckon, to leave the original site live, and then rank it up so they can, or not rank it up, but just build the site up so they can say they're happy with it, and then just swap them over? Do you just use a plugin, or?
I mean, well, when swapping themes, I don't do that a lot. I'm not probably if I had a client and I was going to move everything over to another theme, I would make sure, one, I would definitely build it on a different domain, like a subdomain or something, developer domain. And I would have, personally, I would have a web person move it over. But I mean, you can copy their current site, put it on a developer domain, and then, add the theme, and then try to work it out the best you can. What I would do if it was my client, I would find someone who's good with websites, and I would say, listen, I need to swap this, and I would just have them swap it out.
Okay. Yep.
I don't know of any trick that you can do to just kind of like a plugin that, I know there's plugins that'll copy sites, but to move to a different theme and make sure all the connections are correct, I don't know of any plugin that'll just do that.
Yeah, no worries. With this new site, they don't have. We're going to totally redesign the whole site. So so it's going to be starting from scratch. Yeah. All right. No worries. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot. Get some music back. All right. So let's hit some more of these questions here. Okay, Ganache wants to come live too. All right, we'll bring you live in a minute. Let me just hit some of these questions. Do both of you use Ahrefs to analyze competition, or could we use OMG Command Center? Jamie, I use Ahrefs. I know Greg, he said yesterday he uses you use both, don't you, Greg?
Yeah, Ahrefs, typically it's just quicker. I've used that a lot for just anchor text stuff. The thing with OMG Command Center is you get a whole bunch of tools all in one, so you guys are going to get them cheaper, so that makes more sense for pretty much everyone. I usually just use Ahrefs for quick examples when I'm doing live stuff. But all that data is in the OMG Command Center. It's just displayed a little differently. So you don't just get Ahrefs data, you also get OpenMy's data, you get Majestic data. You can look at all those tools as one. So I mean, Ahrefs is actually in OMG Command Center. So it's just a little slower. That's all. I just use Ahrefs in public because it's quicker and a little easier to read.
Yeah, I think for the price, I mean, you get a lot with that Command Center than if you try to buy all those tools separately. All right. So Paul asks, is an embed stronger than sharing the link on YouTube? I mean, I wouldn't say it's stronger. I would just say it's just another way, another factor. If you share your link on YouTube, or that's one way to do it. Embedding's one way. Linking to the video is another way. I've always done embeds, because it's I've always seen results doing it. So I try to get my videos embedded wherever I can. So this is from John. He says, can I get the man, the myth, the legend, Greg, to go over how he would go about linking this site? Sandover Island Landscaping.
Yeah, so it's a it's a local site. So, any local site, follow what we did in Over the Shoulder series. Joe was awesome in that series. Shows you how to do pretty much everything you need to do from the get-go. Setting up all your citations and all your social properties. I would do exactly what Joe did to start. See where it lands you, and then if you need to, start juicing up those properties. With either PBNs or other links, or you can just go and see what your competitors do and get more links that way. Now I would start exactly like Joe and I did the Over the Shoulder series if it's a local site.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
And I got to get ready to run, Joe. I just want to stop on for a little bit, say hi.
Hey, thanks for coming on, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll catch the catch the rest of the replay. I always watch your replay. So.
All right, great. Thanks, man.
Keep listening to Joe, guys. He's a beast, man. He's helped me a lot.
All right.
All right, see you guys.
All right, later. All right, so let's see. John R. So John says, for Susan, I had to change my default browser to Chrome, Firefox when running Wirecast. Yeah, and that's what I was saying is make sure you just change your default browser. Set default browser you have Google account logged into. Yeah, so whatever account your Google account is logged into, set that as that browser as your default browser. So when it pops up, it pops up in that same browser. Okay, so Michael says the country without private registration is Germany. Yeah, I mean, like when you run in a situation, you just got to do the best you can. Maybe you can register some domains in your sister's name or your brother's name or your mother's name or some friend's name. I mean, you kind of got to be creative when you're in a situation like that. So, all right. So here, Joe has a question here. Let me, I'm missing part of this, so I'm going to try and take another screenshot so you guys can see these questions here. Just give me 1 second. All right. Okay. Oh, wait, that's not oh, I missed this section here. All right. So Joe asked it. I missed it on the screenshot, but I'm just gonna just read it. It says, I just got this new client. She's an essay writing service website. She's offering me half the profits of her site if I get to rank it and generate organic traffic. She doesn't want to pay monthly fees, but will pay an initial setup fee of $1,000. Her main keywords are research, paper, writing essay, writing service, and her website has a brand domain name. How would you respond to such a request considering the competitiveness of these keywords? I mean, Joe, you just have to see if you want to invest the time with her, and how much is she going to pay you? How much does she make per paper that she writes? How are you going to track what she does? When you start splitting or taking a commission of what people are making off your leads or off your website, you really gotta like spell out in a contract what exactly you're going to do. Are you going to make money off of everything that she does? Is it just the people that come off her website? How are you going to know if the people are coming just off her website? All those things you have to hammer out, because some of these are going to be, like research, paper writing, essay writing service. I mean, those are some pretty competitive keywords. So you may have to invest some money into it, into getting those ranked. So I usually just, for me, if I just have the clients usually pay me for it, but it just depends on how well you know her. So Susan asks, when I create an email account for a domain in the cPanel, is it supposed to be my domain /webmail? Then it says to pick a reader like Squirrel Mail. Is that right? Access email account you have to go through. Yeah. So if you're just setting up in your cPanel, most hosts use webmail. So you would put like my domain /webmail, and then it gives you 3 choices, and you just pick one of those choices. And that would be kind of like your email portal. What I'll do from there is I don't use their email service. I'll forward that email to a Gmail account, or you can set it up in your Outlook so it comes in your Outlook or something else. Usually with the hosting accounts, though, that Squirrel Mail, and I think it's Round Mail, they have 3 different ones to pick from. I don't really like them that much, so I'll just forward the emails on, and it's very easy to do. Once you log in, you just hit forward email. So Joe asks, regarding branding an affiliate site, can high PR branded URL regarding branding an affiliate site, can high PR branded URL links from this Fiverr gig be good enough? And is 25 high PR links too much or to use to brand an affiliate site? Joe, I'm gonna Greg's not on right now, but here's what I'm going to say is I don't ever send links to my money site, affiliate site, or whatever it is from Fiverr. Even though they're high PR links, you don't know really where those links are coming from. You don't know if that site's ever been penalized. You don't know anything about it. And PR, it's kind of like that hasn't been updated in quite a while. So you just got to be real careful. I mean, you could send those links to maybe a video or something like that, but I would not send them to a money site. I'd be very, very careful about that. Okay, and I see you got a link to the Fiverr gig. I just don't send any Fiverr links to my money site at all. Anthony says, this is for Greg, is it possible to resurrect a PBN that might have been de-indexed? What about using PBNs that are not closely themed to the site it is linking to? I mean, okay, so Anthony, you can resurrect a PBN that's been de-indexed. I've done it before. You go through a lot of trouble, and then you still have for me personally, I don't really use them. If they've been de-indexed, even if they become indexed again, I kind of I won't send them to my money site just because I don't know. Even though they're re-indexed, they still, I don't know if it's carrying anything bad over or if it's being watched at all. PBNs are not closely themed to the site it's linking to. There are people that have PBNs that are just general. I try to make it somewhat close if possible. So if I'm building out my PBNs and say I have a lot of clients that are in construction, or my lead gens are all construction, I'll build out PBNs that are on, say, construction, home building, home remodeling, or if I'm going to do a PBN that's kind of linking out to a lot of different things, I may do it like Stuff Joe Likes, my blog on what I like, and then the article that I write will be on the topic that I'm linking to. So say if it's a PBN, stuff I like or stuff I do, the article might be, what I do when I have a plumbing problem, and have the article written that way. So I try to at least get the article to be along the same lines as what I'm linking to. Spencer Jones says, how do we avoid footprints when creating social profiles, registering, posting from the same computer? I would like to know both. So what he's asking is not to leave a footprint by using your same IP or your computer to create a bunch of social profiles or posting to your PBN. I mean, what you can do is I use Firefox and I clean the caches all the time, but you can also get proxies and from by proxy, and you can put the proxy in your Firefox browser, and you can change the proxy every time you do a social site. I don't do that. I do have something. I've used a Tor browser before. Let me see if I can find it here. Hold on, I just shut my screen off. But what I'm going to try to do is okay, let me see. All right, you guys can see my messy screen now, but if you see right here, it's TOR browser, okay? And when you open this, it's going to take a while to open. It's pretty slow, but this, every time you refresh it, it changes the location. So you can use something like this. Just Google TOR browser, and you can use this. You'll be able to change your IP. It takes forever to start up on this computer, especially because I'm on this GoToWebinar. So as it's pulling up, I'll look at some more of these questions. Paul says, for countries that prohibit private registration for PBNs, could they partner with someone in another country? Yeah, I'm sure they can. It all depends on what's the extension. If it's a .eu or .au or something like that, then you're going to have a harder time even if you're in the U.S. I mean, I've gotten .eu domains before where I couldn't do the private registration on. Is it totally safe to send Money Robot to social properties, Facebook, Twitter, Weebly, Tumblr? I do the way I will send. Here's the thing. So if you're going to send Money Robot to a social profile, you want to make this is what I do. If it's going directly to my money site, so say it's going to Facebook and Facebook is going to my money site, I'll send Money Robot to Facebook because Facebook has a no-follow link back to my money site. If it was going to say something else that's a do-follow link, then I wouldn't send Money Robot right to that property. I think Tumblr will send a do-follow link, so I'll have a buffer in between the two. So it'll be like, so I try to keep Money Robot on the third tier if I can. And then you also want to be careful with your anchor text that you're sending to, if you're sending to a social property like Facebook or Twitter, you don't want to overdo the anchor text either. Okay. Joe asks, regarding branding and affiliate site, can high PR branded URL links from this FireGig? All right, I think we already answered that. Okay, so Anthony has some questions on the director's cut skin. Anthony, I'm not real familiar with that director's cut skin. I haven't used it yet, but I do know that Fletch, he did use it in the Over the Shoulder series, so I would take a look at that, and you can also ask him on his office hours about it. Okay, let me do a print screen. Okay. All right. So Greg experienced any negative issues running vCraken to a subdomain of his money site. I'm not sure. I don't think he has. Shane says, which OTO series? This is the OTO series that's in Project Breakthrough, Project X, and Project J. It's the one me and Greg did on Iowa City SEO. And we break down exactly like from start to finish how we put that whole campaign together. And if you Google Iowa City SEO, you'll see that we got like the first 5 spots, and we didn't even, I think it's less than 30 days old that we started all that. All right, so Paul says, I'm looking to create an external authority link from either my YouTube channel and or videos. Would it be better to do channel and or the individual videos? And does creating links to other authority channels do this? The link need to be created specifically. My YouTube channel, the channel and or. You know, I mean, with YouTube, what I'll do is I'll link to other videos and other channels. I'll even go in the comment section. So if someone has a video posted that has some authority already and is in my niche, I'll drop a comment and I could put a link in the comments. You can put the links now in the comments, and I'll link back to my video on my channel, building up the authority of my channel. And then from my channel, in which I've built authority, I can link, it links back to my site and some of my social properties. So if that's not what you were asking, then just put a question in there again. Caroline, what is the correct way to set up a citation? My plastic surgeon has some set up as the name of the business, which is different from the name of the corporation. Some citations are his name, and some are the same of the business. Which is the correct way to set it up? Thought I heard in one of the trainings that we should follow how their Yelp listing is set up. Is that correct? Not necessarily. You know, for Yelp, you could change that listing. What you want to do is, you know, you have to see what has more authority, his name, like his surgery name, or his business. I would imagine his business, right? So what I would do is I would just pick one, his business name, and change your citations over to his business name. I mean, what is his Google Marketplace account? I mean, that's really what you're trying to rank with the citations. You know, it should be under his name. So whatever you have his Google Marketplace as, if it's you know, Dr. Jones's Plastic Surgeon Inc., right? If that's his Google Marketplace or Google local page, that's what all you want all your citations to be. You want them to match that in for the name, for the address, for the phone number. So Greg J says, I've tried everything, but I am unable to hear any of the audio. If I attend on time, I can hear everything. If I join the webinar in progress, I cannot hear the audio. This is the second live webinar I'm missing because I've joined the webinar. Greg, well, you probably can't hear me if you don't have audio. Sorry about that. You could always call in, too. So you can always call in. Let me... I'm going to just give him, if he's not hearing, I'm just going to do a message. We can always, using the number. Okay, so I'm just going to send him a message on that. Okay, so let's see. John R., how do you get your Money Robot links indexed? I notice a lot of mine do index even after using an indexer a few times. John, the Money Robot has its own indexer, so some of the links will get indexed, some may not. It may take a while also for them to get indexed. A lot of times I like to use some of the templates that have bookmarking and such on second and third tier. The more links I send to, the more chances it is of getting indexed. I really don't worry about it. I just run the campaign, and then what gets indexed gets indexed. And if I need some more boost, I'll just run another campaign. How do you know if a link is due or no follow? All right, I'll show you. There's a Moz toolbar that you can get. So I'm pulling up my site right now. So you just go to Moz.com or you Google Moz toolbar, and there's different metrics on here. So one of them is you can show what's a do follow, and a no follow link. So like if we go to, let's see if we, like if we go to, say we Google something like, let's see what comes up. Okay, so if we go to Yelp, right? We can look at Yelp. Let me see if I can find another directory in here. All right, so if you go over to Yelp, and we see here we got this link right here. Okay, this is going to the dentist. If we go and we say, okay, show me all the ones that are follow. All right, so this shows right here that this is a follow link, which means the link juice is going to follow through. If it's a no follow link, it'll be pink. Okay, and that'll show all the no follow links that you have. So if you're looking at Manta or Yelp or some of these other sites, if you want to see which is do follow and which is no follow, you get this Moz toolbar, and right here, this will show you the follow, do follow, no follow, etc. Like I think Manta, I think that's no follow. Foursquare's no follow. So different stuff like that. We can go. Let's see here. All right. So I can go this guy right here, and so I'm set to. I want to see if it's no follow. Man, this thing is slow. And there you go. So here's the link right here, and it's no follow. It's all no follow. All right. Okay. All right. So let me get back to the question box here. All right. So okay, Shelly says that there's a director's cut skin thread in the Facebook group, and there is. So I know those guys monitor that pretty closely, so you can drop your questions in there also. So Susan asks, do you set yourself up as a manager for clients' Google accounts instead of always logging into their Google account to access YouTube? Is there any advantages or disadvantages? Yeah, Susan, I mean, I'll make myself the manager. If I don't set it up, if we set it up, sometimes we just keep control of it, because I try to let my clients have as little control as possible, because the more control, then all of a sudden they're changing stuff in the description, or they're changing different things about it, and they don't really know what they're doing. So like if I'm setting up a total campaign for a client, I'm setting up their YouTube and Facebook, I'll keep control of it, and then say they stop being my client or something, then I'll switch it over to them. If they must have control of it, then I'll just make them the manager. Or, if they had it already and I'm fixing their old YouTube channel and Google channel, I'll make myself just a user of it. Okay, George O'Brien says your Webby is probably set to telephone versus computer. So no audio via computer. Okay, Fastway. All right, Josh. I'll go into some client stuff. I mean, it's nothing magical, but it's stuff that totally works. Okay, so thanks, Joe. What I was thinking of was establishing an authority link in much the same way as one would with a website, and therefore increasing the trust of my YouTube channel and videos. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that. The more trust that you have on your channel, it'll drip down also to your videos. And internal links on YouTube are very strong. I mean, they do help your ranking. It doesn't cost anything. You can take 5 minutes a day and do 3-4 links if you want through the comment section, or you can have a VA do it or something. But getting internal links in YouTube can be very powerful. Okay, this is a long question from Caroline. I am hoping that you can help me. I have 2 PBNs that were de-indexed on March 1st for a manual pure spam penalty. I have social accounts going to them, feeding the feeds through IFTT. This PBN hasn't been updated since July. I was talking to an OMGer, and he said that if the money site wasn't hurt, that most likely the PBNs are burnt. He told me to delete the PBNs in 10 days, and then in 2 to 3 months, I can bring the PBNs back to life. Can I ask you what your take on this? The money site hasn't been hurt at all, but do I delete the social accounts that are attached to the de-indexed PBN? And also, can I continue to add different PBN links to my money sites from other PBN links that are fine, or should I do DAS to the money site? Okay, if I had a PBN that got de-indexed, and I actually had 2 that got de-indexed, and it was the way I linked stuff. I accidentally linked. I left a footprint on 2 of them, and they got deleted. What I did is I left them alone, and I just deleted the post and the link where my link was. And that was it. I mean, I'm not even going to try to revive these PBNs. In my opinion, they're done. I'm done. I'm going to move on. I'll just get another link from another PBN. As far as the social sites, going to that de-indexed account, I mean, it's up to you what you want to do with that. Personally, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would definitely remove any more linkings to that PBN. And you can, if you got other PBNs that are healthy, you can link right to your money site, or you can do, you can link like what Greg did in the over the shoulder series. You can use your PBNs as a tier 2 and link to a citation, and then that citation will link back to your site. Adrian says, how do you know if an inner page of your website is indexed, and if it's not, how can we help it to be indexed? Adrian, the way I tell if it's indexed, I mean, you can get a toolbar for Firefox. I think it's from SERPbook. I think they have it, and they'll show you if your pages are indexed, or you can just drop the link right into the Google search, and if it shows up in the search, then it's indexed. Usually if your website's indexed, your inner pages will get indexed. If it's a money site, client site, or one of my lead gen sites, I usually put Google Webmaster Tool on it. And if you put a Google Webmaster Tool, if you connect your site to Google Webmaster Tool, you could call the Google bot out to crawl your site. And usually, like if you say crawl this page, it'll get crawled and indexed within a few minutes. Paul D, does one boost a Yelp or other directory listings to point tools that build mass links, or is less is more better when using Web 2.0s, for example? I think it's less is more is the way we're going, at least a lot I'm going with what I'm doing. So, say if my Yelp, especially if it's my Yelp links to my money site, I may put that, you can put that in a DAS stack. So you could say link your blogger to your Yelp, and then, link a Weebly to the blogger to the Yelp, and then maybe run like Money Robot to the Weebly. So it's going to go Money Robot, Weebly, Blogger, Yelp, Money Site. So, you kind of send the juice up the chain, but it's filtering through a lot of other sites. Okay. Can't see the questions. Well, you should be able to see them now. Oh, you guys can't see the question. All right. So let me see this Tor browser. Here, let's see if it pops up here. This is it right here. This is the Tor browser I was talking about. So just go to torbrowser.com. It should have this onion on it. And then, you can just search here. And as you search, here's a little drop down, and you just click new identity. Okay, and then you'll give you a new identity if you want. So that's one of the things I do. All right, so let me get back to these questions. All right. Okay, I think I come to the end of the questions here. So, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, this isn't, there's a lot of ways to get clients. There's getting an SEO, My City SEO site. There's, email tricks you can do. There's getting videos and sending out emails. I mean, if you really want to get a client, the best way that I do is simply, let me bring up my, is going to referral groups. Now, I know this has been talked to about before. I've talked about it. I'm bringing this up because I've had a lot of people who are like, man, I just need to get a client. What's the trick? And, I mean, this is how I got my clients. I just went to as many referral groups as I could. Jamie asked, real quick, just to get back to what was that Tor browser. Jamie, someone wanted to post things to their PBNs and their social sites and mask their IPs, and that was one way to do it. Okay, so back to this is, like the Chamber of Commerce are everywhere. They're in every town, every city. For example, in San Diego, you have San Diego, then you have a bunch of little cities and a bunch inside San Diego, like Vista. You have Carlsbad, Oceanside, San Marcos, Escondido. Now, what you can do is you simply can go to each one of these chambers, and they have meetings. And usually they have meetings once or twice a month. And you don't even have to pay to go to these meetings, and they're kind of like network meetings where you meet other people, who are in business and who are looking for referrals. And if you want to join a chamber, it usually costs $200 to $300 a year. Sometimes they'll let you do a monthly, like $20 a month. They'll let you spread it out monthly. But there's a few things you can do when you join a chamber. The first thing you can do is you can immediately ask if there's any way you can help out. They have different kind of committees you could join. You could become what's called an ambassador. When you become an ambassador, that means you kind of help with setting stuff up. You help new ones that come in. You help greet people. But you also can get a feel for everyone that's in there, and then you become a little more prominent. I mean, you do have to do a few things. It's not much. The other thing you can do is what they call lunch and learns. What a lunch and learn is you give a 20-minute PowerPoint presentation and you teach something. And it doesn't have to be anything fantastic. It can be like, how to make your website convert, how to set up your Google Marketplace, how to get a video to rank on YouTube. Like you pick something that you can teach it, and you might say, well, I don't want to show them how to set up their Google local place because then they won't ever hire me. Well, when you're doing a presentation, any presentation, whether it's for a chamber or whether it's for a score or something else, you're going to have three different types of people in the audience. Okay? You're going to have the person that's there that's going to do it themselves no matter what you say. They're never going to pay you to do it. They're going to just find a way to do it themselves. Okay, there's that guy. There's the guy that thinks he could do it himself. He's going to try. He's going to get frustrated, and he's going to hire you to do it. The third guy is he don't even want to do it himself. He just wants to hire somebody. So if you're able to do some kind of speech or presentation where you're showing people, like, not theory, not holding back facts, but you show them exactly how to do something, you immediately become the expert. They're like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He just showed me how to do this. No one's ever showed me this before. And usually I'll go up, when I would do my presentation, I would try different things. I'd go up and I'd have, say, a deck of slides that were like 10 or 12. And, I would go and show them how exactly to do it. And I'd kind of go through it kind of quickly. And even though I'm showing them, they're writing down the notes, they're getting the gist of it, they usually come back and they want to know more about it. They want to know more about me, afterwards. So that's one way. The other thing you can do is go to a BNI group. Now, what BNI does is it's a referral group. If you look inside, in the Facebook group, you've seen a few people have actually been posting how they've been getting clients from their going to a BNI group. And this is just really a referral group. You meet. I mean, it's not cheap. It costs, I think it's like, it depends. It could be $100 up to a couple $100, a month, I think, for these BNI groups. But you meet with people who are all business people, and their whole goal is to refer you and for you to refer them. Now, you might say, how do I refer people? I don't know how to. Well, they teach you how to refer people. They teach you how to network. They teach you how to get your stuff out there. It's a pretty intensive group, and I was a part of 2 BNI groups when I was there, and I got a lot of business. And it wasn't that I was trying to pitch to other members of the BNI group. It was they would pitch for me. They would go out and they would work for me. It's kind of like Cotton talks about a snowball effect, how he gets clients to work for them. When you're in a good BNI group, those people are working for you, right? And you're also working for them, referring them. And in order to stay in the group, you have to have a certain amount of referrals. And the thing is whenever you go to a network meeting, I never went trying to sell to people in the network, right? I didn't want to go there and say, even if I went to a chamber of commerce, my goal wasn't, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to see if I get 5 clients out of this. No, because everybody's trying to pitch their stuff to you, right? Like you go in there, it's like everybody's trying to do the same thing. So instead, I just ask people questions about their business. What are you doing? What do you like about that? Why do you get into that business? What's your most ideal customer? If I'm looking for people, what's the best, and I get them talking about their business, and I engage with them. And then if they'll ask me what I do, I'll say something real simple, I help new businesses to grow. I help businesses that want more clients to get those clients or to get more leads, or something very simple. But I don't go into detail right there. What I try to do is I try to set up a meeting with them, like a strategic meeting where I can learn more about what they do and they can learn more, about what I do. And like, for example, if you go to any city and you type in referral groups, I know for San Diego, there's a lot of different referral groups that you can join. I was part of one before I left. I don't even, I think it was this one. Anyway, so what I would do is I just try to get out there and try to get into as many of these groups as you can. A lot of times they meet early in the morning, so before work. Some of these groups I went to met at like 6 in the morning. And yeah, you don't want to get up that early, but if you do it, and the more you do it, the more chances of for you to get clients. The other thing you can do is it's called SCORE. And what SCORE is it's a total non-pitch, but what they do is it's a group of business people, and that's how it started. and what they'll do is they hold classes to help new businesses learn how to run their business, whether it's they do workshops, whether it's marketing or doing their taxes or business organization. That's what they do. And what I would do is I became a member of SCORE, and I would put on workshops. And I wasn't allowed to pitch my service or anything. I would just teach them how to do certain things. But in the end, I always had people that wanted to know more, or they didn't want to do it all themselves. They wanted to hire me. So it was a way of getting my name out there. And if you go to enough referral groups and SCORE, and then you start connecting with people, it's those connections that can bring you in leads. So I don't know if you guys have any questions on that, or if you've tried to do any kind of networking, it didn't work for you, or if you want some clarification, or if you want to come on, just let me know. I can bring you on live. I'm just going to check out some of these questions. Ken asks, is it okay to point Money Robot to your money site? I never point Money Robot to my money site. Okay, Paul says, there's lots of great info, knowledge, yet lots of us have to ask questions, and we've got a better knowledge of the digital space. Yeah, I mean, Paul, just ask whatever questions on your mind. I know sometimes this concepts are hard, especially, when it's like you're drinking from a fire hose. So, I'll try to break it down the best I can. Jamie says, newbie question, what do you do typically if you have two local clients in the same city wanting to rank for the same keywords? Both are plumbers. Jamie, I always had a policy that I only take one client in one area. And, that was kind of part of my sales pitch is, hey, if I work with you, we're going to dominate for this keyword, and I'm not going to, as long as you pay me, I'm not going to take on any other client. As long as you're my client, I'm not going to take, because it's a conflict of interest, because who are you you're competing against yourself, so it's a really tough situation. So I always try to avoid that. Sheila asks, query reset up so we can use RSS feed, DAS, etc. Okay, so this looks like it's Sue and Russell suggests one email account which creates each social profile, which allows creation of individual Facebook, YouTube, Google+. So does this cause any problem with Google? If that's a question I would ask on their RSS feed and their DAS stack. You can ask on their webinar. I'm not really sure how they, in what context they were talking about there. Spencer says, can you show some examples of things we can teach in these groups? I can. I have an old presentation that I used to use. I have to see if I can find the slides. Anthony asks, do you join networking groups or just visit most of them? I did both. In the beginning, I would visit different chamber meetings, and I would try to set meetings up with people because they'll let you visit, and then I found one I liked, I would join. I think I was a member of 2 different chamber groups, and I would try to give some lunch and learns. B&I group, I was part of 2 B&I groups, and I was part of another referral group. I mean, you don't have to go that crazy. I just, I wanted to get clients, and I needed them, and the more groups I went to, the more I refined what I did, the more people that I met with and pitched my stuff to that said no, the better I became at getting yeses, because like you kind of learn how to talk to people, and you kind of learn what buttons to hit and different things like that. But like I said, you can go to a chamber and just go, find a chamber by you, see when their next meeting is, and just go to the meeting, and just see what you think of it. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Paul says, no, I was making a comparison to presenting at a network event and telling them what to do step by step. OMG is similar, which is great, and we ask questions. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Paul. So Paul's saying it's kind of like people asking questions in OMG. And, yeah, I mean, that's it. And now, you might say, well, what presentation am I going to use, right? What am I going to do? The presentation I used to give was on how to get their website to convert. Okay, so I didn't go into SEO. I didn't that much. It was just basically on how to get their website to convert. Like, how are you capturing leads on your website? Do you have a funnel? Do you retarget those leads? And I just went through and kind of talked about that. And, in the end, it was to me, it was simple because it's stuff I did all the time, but to them it was groundbreaking because nobody talked to them. Like, wait, have a lead capture on my website, give away something so I can get an email and then follow up with people with that email, putting a heat map on my website so I can see where people are clicking and what's converting and what's not, and split, so like I would just go into different things like that on how I make a website convert and look, and no one's ever told them that. So, and I would say stuff like, okay, so you want to get your web guy to put this box right here, and you want him to set up an autoresponder for you. Okay, and then we're going to, and like stuff I knew that the web guy is going to be like, huh, what? Autoresponder, because most of them don't know what that is. But what I'm doing is I'm putting myself in a position where I'm the expert. I mean, another one I did was on how to set up Google. Like I had to speak at a big event on SEO, local SEO. And it's like, it's like, how do you speak on local SEO for half an hour? It's like, I'd have better chance of them showing them how to put a car engine together than, because there's so many different dynamics. So I just simply showed them how to properly set up their Google local page and how to get citations. Like not like go to Fiverr, get citations or stuff I teach in here. I just showed them step by step how you set it up, how you put your pictures in, tag your picture. This is why I tag the picture. Like I'll show them some stuff that no one's showed them before. Like there's a simple thing that I would show them and they would all flip out. It was where you can actually go into a picture if it's a JPEG, and I show how to do this somewhere in OMG, but if you go into a JPEG and you right click it, you can go down to properties, and in the properties there's a tab where you can actually put in a title, a descriptor, and tag, so you can actually internally tag that picture. So, when I did my Google, at the time it was Google Local or Google Places, I think, when I showed them this is how I upload my picture, but this is how I tag it. And I showed them that little trick, and that little trick would just blow their minds because they're like, holy moly. And I say, when you put this picture on your website, you want to make sure it's tagged. Is your web guy tagging these? Obviously not. And so every time after my presentation, my table would be full of people asking me questions, because it's the same way, right? When you guys get on a webinar and like Cotton's webinar, you see people put mind blown, or someone says something you never heard, right? Everyone's there wanting to know more, or wanting to hear what this person says. And you can be that expert in your local space because nobody at these meetings, at these chambers, knows what you know. Even if you think you don't know a lot, you know way more than they do. All right, so, okay, let me get back to the questions. Your sound's cut out. Can everyone still hear me? Just give me a 1 if you can still hear me. 1. All right, everyone can still. Okay, it must be just their connection. All right. So Susan asks, do you use the Yoast video plugin? I don't use Yoast. I use All-in-One SEO, but I do know Yoast is a pretty good plugin. I knew Greg used it, and Greg's used it, and he used it in that Iowa City SEO demo that he did. All right, both are good. Yeah. Okay, so that's about it. That's all the questions I have. Well, do you guys have any more questions on this? On any of the things we talked about, or anything at all, or I have a few minutes. If somebody wants to hop on real quick, we can do that. Tom, one of my PowerPoints, I was looking for that PowerPoint. I have to see if I could find it. I do have that video. I did what I did with my presentation. The way I would practice it is I would record myself, and I actually put on a webinar. I know I've said this before. SynWire. All right, I'll go into SynWire a little bit. I did what I would do in my presentation is I would also do free webinars. I think I talked about this before a few times, but where I would say, I'd invite people to my webinar, and some people would show up, not a lot, but I would make believe like there's 100 people on there, and I would go through my presentation. So I might have that recorded somewhere. If I do have it recorded, don't expect anything that is going to be awesome. It was when I first started, so it wasn't great, but you know what? It worked enough to get me clients. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me just hit some of these questions. All right, I'll do SynWire. Okay, here's the deal with SynWire. There's nothing magical about SynWire. Yeah. I'm just going to log in here. I pause my screen so I can just log in here. There's nothing magical about it. Okay, all it's doing is it's posting the properties that you already set up. So, I know it's kind of pricey. It's a few $100. You could really probably do this with IFTTT if you want. But as I'm getting that set up, let me just check a couple more questions. Good stuff. Thanks, Fran. Anthony, the email trick I'm talking about, he's asking, can I go through that email trick? What I'm talking about is like the stuff, I think Cotton has it in his section about the yellow pages, where you can email people who have yellow pages and videos. Stuff like that works, or setting up like a My City SEO. That stuff works. It just takes a little time. This way of going to chambers and meetings is more aggressive, but you will get clients for sure. All right. Let me see. Shane says, I've been in OMG since last fall. I spun my wheels for a while, but haven't moved forward for a variety of reasons. Okay, well, Shane, if there's anything we can do to help you move forward, let me know. If you want to come on, I can bring you on. Okay. What is the fastest way to gain confidence on my ability to rank local sites? And how can I domina? I don't know what that last word is. So how can you have confidence in? You could rank, my local SEO. You could make kind of like a lead site and put it up and try to rank it. You can rank a video. There's different things like that you can do and try to rank. Like in Project X and Project J, I have that section on local CPA. So you can just join a CPA network that'll pay you, I don't know, they don't pay a whole lot. They may pay you $20 a lead, and set the site up for that. Like I know there's one, they actually pay $60 a lead, and it's for security systems, and it's a pretty well-known company. So you can set that up in, say, a city, sell them leads, and then you can show people, say, I think it's ADP, or I forget the name of the company. You can say, look, I work for a security company. I set up these sites for them. And you're not lying, because you're selling them leads. John says, I have a client with over 100 outbound links on their site. Is this hurting their rankings? If yes, what's the best way to fix it? They don't need the links anymore. I mean, if it's hurting, it just depends on the anchor. It depends on where the links are coming from. You can try to get the links removed. You can disavow the links. So you can get the links and put them through the disavow tool, and you can get them disavowed, and then Google won't count them anymore. It just really depends on the types of links, the anchor, and where they're coming from. Spencer says, for a newly registered domain, how long should we wait before starting linking, and what should be done if we have to keep the website blank for a few days? Usually it'll be like 30 days before I start linking to a website. So, but I mean, you could start, once you have the site up, I mean, you could start running social links and all that right away. Demonstrate to a potential customer that I know what I'm doing. How do you, well, that's, yeah, so Michelle, I think that's Michelle. But how do you demonstrate to a potential customer that I know what I'm doing? Just like that. Like, you can set up, you can build a site and rank it if you want in a niche, even if it's for not that competitive a keyword. You can set your My City SEO site up. You could do some press releases about yourself, best SEO guy in whatever, and run those press releases, and then when you Google your name, that'll come up. Can we have your training slides so that we can learn as well? Name, are you talking about my slides for the what slides are you talking about? The slides that I'm using here with the questions, or the slides for the presentation? Thank you for all the info. You got it, Susan. Tom James, I sent an email. An email for that is on the PowerPoint for today. At the beginning of January, you mentioned that you were doing some videos regarding videos for client getting. Are those posted somewhere? I have not been able to locate them. You had mentioned that someone had done beta testing, and oh, yeah, okay. So, all right, Tom. Well, on client getting, I have the interview that I did with Mike talking about these network events. The other thing that I have is it was on how I use YouTube videos to get clients. Hold on, there's a phone ringing in the background here. So that training, I was going to do something with Cotton on that. We haven't really put it fully together, but he did go over something very similar with the Yellow Pages, on finding Yellow Pages videos and emailing them. It was very similar to that method, using finding pages like finding YouTube channels like Yellow Pages, and also ones you can go to Find Law, F-I-N-D Law, where they have a bunch of videos posted. That training we're still working on. All right, Shane says, I'm back up and on my horse, productive. Should I start with the OTO series you talked about earlier? I have people that I can approach, but I don't have enough solid skills. Yeah, Shane, look at that OTS series me and Greg just did. That's going to give you everything you need to get a client up and running. All right. So Fran says, focus and never give up. That's true, Fran, and love it. Fran's always on these webinars, so that's awesome. Ken, I'm about to start working with a client. He wants me to rank his site, but his website is built with HTML, and I'm looking to change to WordPress. Please, how do I go about it? Okay, so Ken, what I do is I have a web guy that I use. I don't do web design. I don't want to do web design. I'm not good at web design. So if I have a client, like say he needs to transfer it, I find out what my web guy will charge. $400 or $500 he charges me. I'll charge them $1,000, $1,500, and I just have somebody who's skilled at it do it. That being said, you can do it if you know enough about WordPress. But if you don't know WordPress, then I would find someone who does and work out a deal with them. All right. Michelle says, I have a potential customer whose site has over 30,000 spammy links from Asia. Obviously an SEO disaster. Yeah. Can you disavow those? Yes, you can disavow all those links. Shelly says, use Cotton's LinkedIn referral tip to generate authority in your skills. Very good. Yes, I forgot about that. You can use that. Cotton has a thing where LinkedIn, I think there's even in the Facebook group, there is a post where people can, where people kind of refer, on LinkedIn and getting people to refer each other. Got it. I know what you're talking about. Tom says, great, Tom. Sheila asks, so Joe, for your site niche, do you have a separate setup for each one? Google, YouTube? Just wondering, with Google's desire to have one account per person, how does this work, please? Sheila, so I think what you're asking is, like if I'm setting up a lead gen site and my lead gen site is in a certain niche, then it would all be under one Gmail account. It's all the cities are all going to be under that Gmail account. All the YouTube channels are going to be under that Gmail account. If I'm going to another niche, I'll start another Gmail account. I mean, that's kind of what I do. If you're doing a bunch of affiliate products, can you create multiple channels under one Gmail account? Yeah, I mean, you can. So let's see, Spencer, to get the maximum impact with first SEO service site, should we try with My City SEO or My State SEO or My Country SEO? Spencer, it all depends what you want to do. I mean, you could do My City SEO Expert, right? And that's going to be easier to rank if you just want to show somebody that you're ranking for something. It depends on the size of your city, size of your state, or size of your country. Fran says your stuff works. Thanks, Fran. I'm glad it's working for you. Okay, Chris Lee, another awesome office hours. Thank you for doing this, Joe. Love your advice and training. Great, Chris. I'm glad that you guys are getting stuff out of this, and it's working for you. Shane says, really appreciate your office hours. Thanks, Shane. Spencer says, I guess my city SEO is localized to just one city and that's it. Or do you target outside? I mean, so you want to know if you should target other cities or what? I don't use My City SEO. I don't have a My City SEO site. But, like if I was to do one, I would probably just, you can do it in one city. Cotton, he ranks in multiple cities. So, it just depends on which strategy you want to do. Is your website guy a VA or overseas? My web guy that I use, because I've been doing this so long, he's local. So that's that. He's a local guy, and I actually met him at a what? Where do you think I met him at? I met him at a referral group, because guess who gives you the best referrals? Okay, is a website guy, because the website guy, he does, or the graphic design guy, right? Because what do? They design the website. They have no idea how to rank it. Or they design the business cards, but the people that hire them to do their website are like, hey, can you rank this website? Because they think the website guy knows how to rank it. You find a good web guy that's not trying to push crappy SEO, he'll refer you. And when I find a good web guy, I work at it. I say, hey, listen, I don't ever get threatened if they do. I do this and that. I find out, even if they do say I do online marketing, I ask them questions and find out, well, what are they doing actually? And a lot of times they're just web designers. And I'll say, listen, if I bring you work for redesigning web for web, what would you charge me, or this and that? And then usually I can work out a deal with them. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to Sinwire. All right. Sorry for the noise. If you guys hear noise in the background, it's a blizzard out here, and actually, my brothers have come over with their kids, so it's even though I'm up in my office, it's kind of crazy. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to show my screen. All right, so I'm going to Sinwire. I know a lot of people are asking about it. This is Sinwire. Okay, these are the accounts Now these are the accounts that Cinewire uses. They used to use Facebook, but they took that off, so they don't have Facebook anymore. If you want to post to these accounts, you have to input the account. So if you want to do LinkedIn profiles, you have to create the profiles and you have to upload them. Same thing with the LinkedIn group, the Twitter, the Scoop It, WordPress. You have to create all of these profiles and you have to put them up. So, and the one thing you can do is you can post to self-hosted WordPress sites. So like I said, with those deleted domains I picked up, they're deleted, so I could just pick them up for the register price. I just put them in here, and then I'll run a campaign and link to them. The advantages is, yeah, you can just you can go in and say if you want to publish a blog post. You can put your information in here. You can put your video here, and you can put your anchor text in here, and then you can go ahead and publish it. You can do that for book marketing and status update. The problem is you don't want to keep posting to the same exact accounts over and over again. So you're going to have to switch those accounts out. So it's just like an auto poster like AFTT. And Fran says, yeah, and IFTT, you can do something very similar. You may not have all these accounts, but you can have a lot of an IFTT, and it will upload to them. Yeah, an IFTT backlink commando will work, because what that'll do is the IFT commando, it'll actually create a lot of the accounts for you. So you can have multiple accounts, created for you. And really, if you want these created, you can go on Fiverr and someone will create them for like $10 a set. But how I use it is just what I said. Like I use it mostly where I would put in my self-hosted blogs, and they actually were having a problem last week where they were deleting all my blogs, and so I've been going back and forth with support. But I'm actually testing out a new tool called Rank Gold, which I'm going to see how it works, which I think is actually better than Cinewire, and I'll let you guys know. So I mean that's it with Cinewire. I don't know if there's anything specific you guys want to know. Let me know. But I mean, if you go to the dashboard, it'll show you like the networks. Like if there's a problem with your network, right? Because all these auto posters, you're always going to have problems. And then it goes in here and tells you like what was successful and kind of what wasn't, and there, and you can have all this. I don't know. So that's about it. Okay, so if you guys have any specific questions on Cinewire, let me know. Let's see. Shane says, have you ever worked with mortgage brokers or insurance companies and real estate agents? If not, why not? If so, what contract type do you do? What approach would you take? Shane, I don't work with mortgage brokers only because I never had that client. I mean, it would depend what kind of deal you're going to make with them. So Shane's asking, what kind of contract or approach would you use with a real estate agent or a mortgage broker or something? I mean, you can sell them leads if you want, or you can work on their website and rank their website. Mortgage broker or real estate broker, selling leads, I've never tried it. I'd have to think about that. I would imagine that if someone wants to buy a house and they want to hire a real estate agent, they're going to want to know about that agent. So it's almost like if you work, I would work on the agent, not so much selling leads, but I would work on their brand. I would say, listen, if someone's going to buy a house or use you as an agent, why would they use you over everyone else? Like, what is your what's your brand online look like? Like, are you the absolute authority in the area as a real estate agent online? And I don't know. They might say, well, that's what we do. We make you the expert. So when someone's looking for a real estate agent in, Vista, California, they can't help but see you everywhere. and you're going to be the obvious choice for them to pick. So I kind of work on their ego a little bit and work on their branding. Okay, Tony says, when you set up your accounts, do you want to have it the same name as the site? I guess it would be branded. When I set up the accounts for Cinewire, which is similar to OnlyWire, I try to theme out my accounts. So if it's in construction, they'd be themed to construction. If it's dentistry, it would be themed to dentistry. And what you can do is you can create campaigns, and you could actually set up a campaign and choose like what account. So say if I have 50 accounts on construction, I can set that up as my construction campaign, and every time I run like a blog post or bookmark, I can run it to that specific campaign. Shane says, interested in maybe 30 minutes a week, just some general direction and accountability. If you do, let me know. Shane, I don't know, 30 minutes. I don't do unfortunately, I don't do personal coaching if that's what you're asking. Let's see things. I do know that Dave Keys does a lot with mortgage brokers and real estate agents, so you can try and talk to him. George says, I'm working with a real estate agent, but I did not hear who asked the question. They can message me. So, okay, so Shane, George O'Brien says you can message him because he works with real estate agents, and he could probably give you some inside advice. Shane says, okay, fantastic. All right, guys, I love it. I love it that you guys are actually interacting with each other and, willing to help each other out. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get rolling here. We're almost hitting 2 hours, and I got to get going. So awesome stuff. Okay, guys. Yeah, so I'm going to get rolling now. So hopefully we got all your questions answered. And remember, you could always email me with questions that you have if we didn't cover them. So you guys, I want to make sure you have a good rest of the day, and we will talk to you later.